So, a season I actually liked. That's a change. Season 3 Super is coming to an end after a very short 62-day season. Despite being one of Fortnite's shortest seasons of all time, there has been an absolute blast in content to unravel compared to whatever the fuck this thing was. Once again, I will be breaking down each element of the season into the usual 6 different parts, those being the Battle Pass, map changes, loot pool, story, extra game modes, and finally, the events. And so with that, let's have a deep dive into one of my favourite Fortnite seasons in recent times. So this is the one thing I really didn't like about the season, and it seems like I'm in the minority saying that. There are still some amazing additions here. DC fans have wanted Robin in the game for years, and having a non-exclusive Superman skin was a must. Some of the original skins we got as well are still incredible. Having Hayley Sky as a Save the World player is absolutely amazing despite her basic base design, and the concept of a skin based on reboots and Resin was done perfectly with Light Rider, especially when compared to whatever the fuck that thing was. Morgan Mist is an okay skin, but far from worthy of being tier 100 in the slightest. I guess someone had to fill the spot, but none of these skins seem worthy in the slightest of being a tier 100. The only one that seems fitting is Superman, and he's the fucking secret skin. And then to round out this battle pass, there's the trio of shitters, those being Killswitch, Ziggy, and Synthwave. The latter of the three, being Synthwave, I can give a little bit more credit to, just because I love her set and aesthetic. I just think she's absolutely terrifying. But these two, oh god, I don't even know what to think about Ziggy, but I just hate the way he looks. I think it's his eyes, but there's no excuse for Killswitch. I have all the same problems with this skin as I do Nolan Chance. His colours are obnoxious, the face model is disgustingly ugly, and his overall design just feels really tacky and cheap. I hate everything about this skin and its putrid set. Its edit style somehow makes it even worse. Overall, I don't think this battle pass is inherently bad or anything. It just feels really underwhelming and boring in so many ways. All the skins that are really good are absolutely incredible, but the skins that aren't are either terrible or just completely unnecessary. Like, who in their right mind saw Killswitch went, yeah, good idea. Why are the Star Wars POIs still here? Just asking, moving on. We had 3 main new POIs this season, and they were just fine. Demon's Domain was the standout of the season, tying the story and the spirit realm to the map even more. So much new terrain and elevation we only ever really get in city POIs. The dark and gritty colour scheme also was unlike anything we've ever seen on the island before. Moving on, Supernova and Utopia City feel like reskins of each other. The problem with Utopia is how small it is. Everything is so packed into the middle of the POI with nothing else surrounding it. Can Epic stop putting important POIs in this place, please? As for Supernova, this feels like a much more open and fleshed out space. It feels so open and lively compared to the crammed small city that Utopia is, feeling so much more open and less generic. As for non-POI map changes, the floating island has now changed dramatically, now spawning in the second circle instead of the latter half of the match. And the design has now been changed to reflect the Spirit Realm instead of Shogun's Solitude. Speaking of Shogun, he's finally been replaced with Core, a very welcome addition to the story. Also on a side note, Superman's here by the way. We got the Fortress of Solitude on the map just over halfway through the season, and it's just as empty as you would expect. And it's literally just 3 chests and 2 NPCs or something. It's not that great. Overall, the locations haven't been bad this season or anything. It's just the fact that we've only had 2 POIs that really stand out. Sorry Utopia City, you don't matter. The loot pool has received a massive overhaul compared to the last full-length season, and for the most part, it's been for the better. To start off, there's the assault rifles, and finally, there's some actual balance to them. Because the Hollow Twister has stayed vaulted, the returning Fury AR has finally got some legs to stand on. There's also the new Spy Rifle, which is essentially a reskin of the Heavy AR, but really, it turns out to be a much better version of the Heavy AR, which is originally one of my least favourite weapons in the entire game. The Spy Rifle, though, addresses all my original complaints with the Heavy AR, making it one of my favourite weapons across all of Chapter 6 so far. I will briefly mention the TAC AR as well, but I can't really talk about it because I didn't play when it was out. But I can talk about the Hammer AR though, one of my favourite weapons in all of Reload, and yeah, this thing was not worth picking up in the slightest compared to the Spy. Why the fuck was this thing unvaulted? There's nothing much to talk about with the shotguns. There was the standard Sentinel and the Twinfire, and of course the Outlaw shotgun, which has really overstayed its welcome. I mean, the Pump shotgun was unvaulted for a day. That's kinda cool, I guess. The SMGs were boring. We had the standard Veld SMG and the returning Surgefire, plus the unvaulted TAC SMG, which sucks. I picked it up once and never used it again. The same goes with the minigun. I picked it up, and that was it. I never even made any progress in the quest for it. I can't even remember going against it. I guess no one cares about these two. I'm just going to throw the snipers and DMRs here. The suppressed sniper is decent enough, and the new DMR was absolutely shit. I mean, the thing is more flashes than the Reaper sniper and has the scope of the SMGs. What the fuck is the point of this thing? The only other weapons worth mentioning are the pistols and the RPG, the latter of the two being fairly standard, and the pistols were not fine font but actually amazing. The Hyperburst is the unsung hero of this season, and do I need to sing the praises of the revolvers any more than what's already been done? And no, I'm not talking about the exotics, they're so boring it's not even worth mentioning them. The season-specific items and mobility is still worth mentioning. The Surf Cube and the Base Boost are some of my most favourite mobility items the game has ever had, and while the Mist Corners aren't great, they do have their place in the loot pool and suit their purpose, especially when fighting bosses. It doesn't make them a real replacement for actual weapons though, which is something I'd really like to see. The balancing this time is top notch compared to what we've seen so far throughout the chapter. There's not many weapon classes dominated by the meta picks. It's one of those seasons where you can really just pick whatever weapon you want and get on with the game and win. This gets a real pat on the back with being one of the most balanced loot pools of recent times. Let's just act like the tracking vase doesn't exist, alright? What a huge rebound from what we've seen already. The story this season has been so much more developed and open compared to anything we've seen in the chapter so far. For a quick recap, after the Spirit Realm was released onto the island, the Energy Blast gave some of the residents of the island brand new powers, because of course they did. And after a sponsorship with Midas, Supernova Academy was founded in order to train our new heroes. That's the main idea of the story, but it is so much more than that. There's been so many side stories about individual characters, like Light Rider learning to overcome her ego to work with her team, or Morgan Mist who's been trained by the Loopers to overcome her lack of self-confidence. If you want a better understanding and explanation of the story, I highly recommend this video by Restro. As usual, the guys did a fantastic job at explaining the ins and outs of everything, and I haven't even mentioned Daigo or Core yet. The story is by far one of the biggest improvements we've seen compared to the rest of the chapter, and if it keeps going like this, I'm just going to have to make a separate video on it. Just like Season 2, we've had a huge resurgence in new game modes and content, having 7 of the non-Battle Royale playlists either updated or created altogether. To start off, OG has seen a huge resurrection, as OG Season 4 has revitalised interest in the mode, especially with the new updates like the 9 Storm Circles instead of 12, and the new Expert mode, which removes bots from the game altogether. Speaking of OG, we've had the Close Encounters LTM return after 7 years, regardless of how much I actually fucking hate this LTM. It's been requested to make a return for years, and it does have a dedicated player base. Reload has had another massive update with the new Squid Games collab. The map is actually okay, I guess, but I'm not forgiving Epic for removing the Oasis map because that was my favourite, so fuck you, I guess. And speaking of massive, the new hot mode of this season, Blitz. I've got very, very mixed opinions on this mode, and I'll be talking about it much more in the future and why I think it's killed Battle Royale, but that's a topic for another time. It stayed consistently updated for the whole time, having new collabs in rotation every single week, bringing back old collabs what people want in the game. It's also revitalised the no taper fade, so that's cool I guess. I love what Ninja is doing with Blitz. Having the fans choose what weapons we want in the loot pool is a great idea. Map changes are also amazing. Mega City is one of my favourite POIs ever, and having it back is incredible. What he's doing now makes me can't wait to see what other creator collabs are on the way. For the other modes, it's been a little bit of a mixed bag. Reusing Bruno Mars for Festival Season 9 feels a little cheap as he was already in the game. I still believe Deadmau5 should have been the icon, but oh well. The last 2 modes are just odd. Respawn Rumble is just a worse version of Team Rumble, which wasn't great to begin with. But LEGO Expeditions is actually a fairly solid game, with a decent amount of content, but not a ton of replay value, at least for me. It is a good challenge though, I must say. And while I didn't include it in the transition slide, I'm going to throw Save the World here, with its new Ancient Launcher, the first fully new weapon we've had in quite a while. Overall, it's been a solid selection of new modes to select from. Every mode this time has its own unique purpose, or brought player counts back up, except for Festival. We don't talk about Festival player counts. The events this season have been superb compared to Season 2, with there now being 4 events compared to the 1. Yeah, that season kind of sucked for events. For starters, there was the 2 summer events. Firstly, there was 14 Days of Summer, which was a huge waste of time. In this event, we got new weapon unvaults every single day, including the already mentioned Takaya, Pump Shotty, and the minigun. If you can tell by how many quests I did I really did not give a fuck about the unvault. Also for summer, there was the next installment in the Party Up line, being dubbed Summer Road Trip. Very original title. The rewards were far better this time around. The event was also a huge crossover into Rocket League, creating a huge in-game event for the game's 10th anniversary. Again, got a free skin out of it, but it's safe to say the quality has increased dramatically. There was also the event in Fortnite OG, being a repeat of the Rocket event from Season 4, and while it was only a repeat of an already existing event, it was still very cool to see nonetheless. And finally, to top off everything else, there was the end of season live event Fight against the Spirit Realm. Joking, it was the fucking Kraken. The event wasn't anything crazy and nothing too over the top, but it was really fun to play. Tied the story together, the map changes were also incredible, and the voice acting was brilliant. Also seeing Daigo get bitch slapped was really funny. Overall, I'm fairly pleased with the events this season. Sure, one of them wasn't good and ended up being fucking atrocious, but nothing disgustingly bad at all. And with the Spirit Realm sealed off for now, nothing will cause us problems again. Right? Never mind, I'm going to be playing Grounded as fucking Jonesy. And there we have it. Season 3 Super is over. This has been a humongous rebound from what we've seen over the last few months. For the first time in a very long time, we've had a balanced, solid loot pool, amazing new gameplay additions, fantastic support for every single important game mode, and on top of that, the story has been revitalised in a way we haven't seen in such a long time. And yes, while the season was still not perfect, Epic have completely turned around my feelings about Chapter 6 altogether, and now I'm even more excited to see what's coming in the future than I ever have been before. And so with that, thank you so much for all of you for watching, and I will see all of you in Season 4.